Everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the WYWBS show.
Woo!
Thank you. I was like waiting for like a circus feel like.
Welcome to February.
If you got the time.
And that as well. Thank you for joining us as always. If you're not familiar, this is a weekly show that we do every Thursday night here at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. We also stream it through Facebook and Twitter as well. We try new beers every week. We talk about new beers every week. We drink a couple of beers at least every week.
True.
Well,
I do now.
Well, you do now, yes.
You're catching us on a good night.
Catching us on early February.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't watch any of the January ones.
Miserable.
Unless you're really interested in watching me progress in my sadness, not only because it's January and I feel like this is a really sad month anyway.
Yeah.
But two, I did participate in Dry January, and that is 31 days of no drinking.
I'm more familiar with the idea.
Yeah, I just would like to really hit home the 31 days of no drinking, and again, my sadness.
Let's definitely. I think we definitely have to get into that. But let's finish these intros because people know it.
Yeah, we just went down
a lot of new
sad, dry January rabbit hole right off the fucking bat.
I'm just saying, it's a
kill
good
the
time to
mood
catch
right away.
Yeah, you have one beer at the beginning of February and you go immediately into a dark rabbit hole of sadness.
I mean, I could be like Punxsutawney Phil and see my fucking shadow. Got 6 more weeks of this shit.
I love it.
I'm Tiffany.
Correct.
This
I'm
is
Daniel.
Daniel.
That's Phil. Do us a favor. Make sure that you follow along on all of our social medias. They're down at the bottom of the page there. So follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Go check out our Facebook. But other than that, also make sure you swing by our website up there at the top moniker, WYWBS.com. We got a great merch site. We have all of our past episodes. We have all of our upcoming episodes. So if you want to find out where we're at, what we're doing, other than our social medias, the website's probably the best place to go. And also, this is Andy. Not Andy.
A different
Andy.
Yes.
Oh, and he's probably known as Andy to some people.
No, I only call him Andrew, and I call the other one Andy. So it's getting real confusing.
It is Andy then.
It's a joke. Yeah, it is.
Okay. It's like, wait a second.
No, but again, as always, we appreciate everybody stopping by. Make sure you follow along with us. Come find out what we're drinking, where we're drinking it, whether it's individually, sometimes together. Come hang out with us. That's our favorite part about this whole event is that we get to hang out with people, whether it's virtually here or through Instagram or somewhere else, and track along with everybody and have some beers with everybody. So
Yes.
It is a good time. As Tiffany said earlier, this is Tiffany.
Yes.
I'm Daniel. That is Phil. Tiffany is done celebrating Dry January, which means she's borderline already fucked up because she's had half a beer.
A little over half.
Correct.
She's back to being nice to you, Daniel? Or
Oh, it's only gotten worse.
Nah.
I thought alcohol was the trigger for niceness. It is not. It is not the trigger for niceness.
So Tiffany, you made it through Dry January. It's February 2nd. When did you have your first beer and what was it?
Yesterday at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah. She didn't even start with a morning beer.
No.
Yeah, you should have started. I would have cracked it right open.
No, I had some things I needed to do, and I didn't want to stress out over
work. Yeah,
being intoxicated while also trying to use my brain. So I did wait until about 6, and it was the Aurora Lager from Untappd Brewery, and they are out of Aurora, Colorado, and it was delicious.
Be weird if it was.
What was the reason? What was your reasoning for that beer in particular?
Low ABV and a lager just sounded like the first thing I wanted to drink.
Nice.
Literally, that was it. We have seriously, our beer
We
fridge.
have so many. So we've been buying beer while Tiffany's been in dry January, but I'll have 2, maybe 3 out of the 4-pack, or 2 out of the 4, 1 out of the 4-pack. So our beer fridge is loaded right now with like everything I've been drinking that Tiffany hasn't got to try yet. She's like, make sure you save me at least 1.
Yeah.
So I can try every beer you've had this month, but next month.
So, for example, this one is Table Read, which is VBC's second iteration of a Vienna lager. I know it's in a 1700 glass, but
That's what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's another light beer because, again, I know my tolerance is. I felt 1 beer yesterday, so
I felt 3 beers in my hand. So just depends on how you feel beer.
yeah.
Yeah, naturally.
And so at the end, now that you're done, and we kind of covered it last week, but you were still in it. How are you feeling now that it's done, or was it worth it?
I think it depends on why you're doing dry January as to if it's worth it for you or not. If you are looking to kind of rethink your drinking and how you're celebrating time or what you're doing with your time, then I would say it's fantastic. I didn't really try to lose weight, so it was kind of a wash there. So I can't say that that's like, do dry January and you're not gonna you're gonna lose weight. Because I think
if you eat pizza every day and do dry January, you're not going to lose any weight.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't.
You're probably going to substitute this. You're going to find something else to fill that sadness void of not drinking.
If that's your goal, correct.
Yeah. So you're probably going to eat worse because you feel like crap.
Right, or maybe you dabble in the cocaine world. It just depends on if you're doing dry
January. It's supposed
January.
to help you lose weight.
I said cocaine.
It's supposed to help you lose
I think for me, like if I wasn't drinking beer, then I'd be like, well, I got extra calories for something gross that's good food, but not good for you. So
Yeah,
I'm
having a lot
probably
of
going to be
protein
the
rolls.
exact same weight, if not more, afterwards.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think I lost about 6 pounds total, maybe. Mine was more of just kind of like the bloating went away, so I wasn't like bloated. I had lost like an inch or 2, kind of like everywhere.
That sounds terrible. If I lost an inch or 2, I'd kill myself.
Oh, I was.
Oh, wait. Waste.
You don't have 2 inches to spare.
Fuck you. That's a voice of experience.
That's for our penis podcast that we do on Saturday mornings. Real early.
No, we do it on Wednesday. It's called Wednesday. It's our penis podcast.
I can't.
Well, all in all, Tiffany survived dry January. I'm super proud of you for pulling that off because I don't think I could do it at this point in life.
I don't think you could either.
Correct. Well, thanks.
So, Tiffany, you then get the I Survived Dry January t-shirt.
Yes,
Congrats.
I do. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
I am very much so looking forward to wearing that.
Dave is also our first guest
Wish you
on
were
Wednesday. Wish you were what?
Wish you were what?
I love it. So, do I get to wear the I attempted?
You did not even attempt.
You didn't attempt.
Yeah, but it's a fun joke.
It would be
If
fun.
she's in one and I'm in the other.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
if
the
we-
See I'm with Stupid shirts. Yeah.
If we wore that, I would literally just continuously stumble all over the place and she would have to help me. Like we would just make whole videos.
So it would be just a standard Tuesday night.
Yeah, probably early Wednesday more than late.
No,
Tuesday.
early Wednesday.
He can't do that show sober. So that makes
True story.
sense.
Well, I can do. Never mind.
Never mind.
You also can't do it drunk.
What are you drinking, and what are you drinking it out of?
I've just got a Heineken here as
Yes.
part of the pack from when we did the Zero Heineken, and I compared it. So something I had in the fridge still.
Yes.
Drinking it out of my the glass that I found here, if you were here for last year when I was in St. Martin, that's where I am now, I had no glassware. So I found this one randomly in a like convenience store. I got a new glass for tonight. I found this one in another random store. I'm on the lookout.
I love how much you're looking for glassware in St. Martin.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got a big old stein, so I'm excited. I know I can't even find a pint glass here. Come to St. Martin, you won't be able to find a pint glass. That's their tagline. It's really weird. It's a really weird tagline.
I love their tourism t-shirts. Come to St. Martin, you won't find a pint glass fucking anywhere.
I like the mugs though. I'm a big fan of handled glasses because then your hand doesn't get cold.
Yeah, correct.
Or like wet.
Oh yeah, but I had to find these. These were in the dark corner of a grocery store.
I had to see.
Like when I bought these, they had to say like, "How much are these?" Like they had to look at the manager and be like, "What do we sell these for?" I've never even seen
30 shekels, I assume, is what they use.
Oh, don't worry, Katie.
It bats.
We got bats. But I had to import this.
I had to take this through customs for the record.
I had to sneak this through customs, and I think you know exactly how I snuck this thing in.
We'll find out on Wednesday.
That'd be my favorite TSA conversation. Sir, is that a bat in your asshole? I'm just trying to get this into country. Trying to get this into country. My posture's never been better.
Very tight back.
You have a tight bat or back? I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Either way.
Either way. It bats. It bats. Ugh, I love it. All right. Enough bullshit. What the hell are we doing tonight? Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what we're doing. This actually will be news to me, which is my favorite part of the show, when we figure out what I think we're doing versus what we're actually doing.
I mean, I think you're gonna like this because last week you hated the can art.
Yes. Oh, I fucking love this can art.
I think this can you're gonna like this week.
It's one of my favorites. Yes.
I'm sad it's shrink wrapped because I save labels.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to cut it and fix it anyway.
Somebody tell us what beer we're having.
Oh, so this is called One of One, and it is by Wynwood Brewing, which Wynwood is a like subdivision in Miami,
which is in Florida.
I think everyone knows where Miami is.
You'd be surprised.
Will Smith sang about it.
Will Smith has been canceled. We don't get to mention his music anymore.
This one's exciting for us because in true Wishiwer beer form, we are drinking a summer shandy in the dead of winter.
It's my favorite. I think we should
get through
keep
February.
Right. We should keep a consistent theme on this show where whatever is supposed to be drank, we're the complete opposite during the time frame. We should be having stouts and porters and fucking, and here we are like, let's do a summer shandy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I guess because it's coming out of Miami, it's like they don't have a winter necessarily,
it is summer
right?
there all the time.
Yeah. That's fair.
And you're in St. Martin, so also always summer.
Yeah. This is
true.
This is perfect, actually. This is perfect.
Yep.
So,
is this our first shandy? I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. But this is also technically,
I've had some.
Well, technically on the can, this is listed as a blonde ale. If on the back of the
shandy blonde ale, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like a true shandy is going to be a little bit of a blend of some things.
With lemonade usually, right?
Yeah. So it's probably in the vein of, but I think it's just a blonde ale.
I'm kind of surprised that in 99 episodes, this is our first shandy.
Right. It doesn't surprise me because we keep those confined to ourselves that we're just pounding shandies. We're like, yeah, we have a beer show. Just pounding shandies on the beach.
No.
Oh, just me?
No, you don't drink them either.
Yeah, I've pounded a lot of
Didn't Shandy move home after college, or did she not?
Sandy's. Who?
Shandy, didn't she move home after college?
That's what Tiffany just said.
She
said,
Sandy?
"Are you saying Sandy instead?" I was like, "Oh yes, I pounded a lot of Sandys. That's on me."
Yeah. Much like
Let's get into this.
I hate you people.
I'm sure that if Wynwood is watching, they're very excited that we're talking about pounding shandy, and then we're going to go right into that.
They are very excited about pounding shandy, and let's take a look at Wynwood Brewing. I think Phil put something together. I freaking love that building. Well, I'm just going to put that out there right off the bat.
In general, I love Wynwood.
True story. All right. So we have a question right before we get into this
I have an answer
that I think is legit. That Andy asked. Andy B, not Andy C.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Difference between a shandy and a rattler, which I thought a rattler would win Wendy, but that's fine.
I don't make the rules.
So a shandy calls for only lemon juice or lemonade or lemon juice. So the juice has to be from lemons. A rattler can be any mix of a fruit and beer. So usually your rattlers are going to be a little more exciting, whereas shandies are purely lemon. Or, lemon flavored. Yep. So. There's real rules with shandies.
Candy shandy. Sorry.
That is who you are pounding.
Sorry, that was too exciting.
That was the
Daryl's not supposed to be bringing up my tattoos. That's not fair.
Especially not my lower back ones. No, but so I'm looking forward to this beer only because when we were down in Miami with Tripping Animals with our collaboration beer, we had the chance to go to Wynwood 2 or 3 times over the course of like a month.
I love that humble brag.
Which was it was kind of fun because it's rare that we get to have a beer on the show of somewhere that we've all been.
Yeah, it was all 3 of us, even though I'm pretty sure that I don't remember it because I was pretty dead at that point.
Yeah, we drank a lot of beer that day, and Phil didn't even have a beer at this venue.
Yeah,
he just sat down and drank water.
Well, no, it wasn't the beers. It's we had just eaten a huge Cuban dinner.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were.
Wait, was it unbranded that we just ate? That we like the whole
no,
thing?
That was a different
the
guy.
Cuban.
Yeah. This was when we went to the Cuban.
Thought that we went to the Cuban place and then we went home.
No, because it was downpouring afterwards, and we went over to the Wynwood afterwards to get one more beer.
Correct. I dropped my 2 favorite ladies off. I went and parked. Yeah, correct. Okay. Same night. Yeah,
and I was not having it anymore. I was very full of pork and cheese.
Yes. So what I love about this district and this brewery, and I'll try not to touch too much on what's potentially coming in trivia, not history and facts. I'm like, oh god damn. But what I love about this is that we were driving down the interstate while we were down there and saw the Wynwood district off the interstate and the amount of like beautiful artwork and like crazy graffiti and like dumb shit. It was like, we literally were like, oh, we need to swing through there.
Whatever that is,
we need to swing through there.
And then my next thing is like, why do we ever have boring buildings in America? Why do we not do this everywhere? And so far, no one has had a good answer for me.
Yeah, that's because.
Well, it's funny because they did the here in St. Martin after the hurricane in 2017. During like the fixing things up phase, a lot of the buildings were broken down and a lot of them just looked like junk and didn't have time to kind of fully bring them down or stuff like that. And what they did was they just got a bunch of the local artists to just paint murals on all of them.
That's awesome.
And they're still doing it. So to this day, like they're still updating it all the time because it's so beautiful and it gives the local artists like a platform and now they do walking tours and tours around the island where you can go to all the different murals that they have. So it's like,
yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
It was a great idea and it brightened up the whole place. And when they were in a dark place, it made it bright.
Yeah. Which is one of my favorite things about that. If you're going through somewhere and you see, like you said, like a gray cityscape versus a vibrant, like amazing, like just landscape of everyone who lives there. It's like, oh, well, I obviously want to go there. I want to hang out there. Like, unless you're crazy.
Well, should we learn a little bit about Wynwood?
We could, but I'm not sure if we have the history and facts to do it. All right, so this is the portion of the show where, like we do every week, we're going to do a little bit of history and facts, which is basically just trivia. Sometimes it's about the brewery. Sometimes it's about how Tiffany feels about what she's going through. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's about if Phil's going to wear a pastel pink or a dark pink. We don't know the answers. So if you're logged in through Facebook and YouTube, please make sure you comment along. You can play trivia with us. So we'll try to give you a couple of seconds before we reveal the answer so that you can comment along and be as wrong as I am, because historically I'm wrong.
Let's do it.
I was waiting for somebody to do it.
All right. True or false, the can artist Lola Bru specializes in hand painting musical instruments.
Wait. Can check.
Can check.
Can check.
You're not supposed to do can checks anymore.
Yeah, but it is Lola Bru.
Yeah, I wasn't lying about that.
Yeah, well, sometimes I got to check because I think
no, that, I would like to make sure I highlight this person.
Okay. Well, it'd be weird if that's not what they do, then you're trying to highlight them. So I'm going to say true.
Yeah. Well, then what else?
I already said true.
Yeah, I mean, based off this can art in general, I could totally see it on instruments. It's got that like vibe. So, and then if you're trying to do this, yeah, I'm going true. I'm right there with you, Daniel.
Okay. I love that. Andy said true. Other Andy said go in the crowd. But when Andy chimed in, Andrew Crawford chimed in, he said true first. He wants to make sure Vero knows that he put his answer in before Vero answered.
Katie, because remember, he and Katie have a like friendly competition in the household.
This is true.
Yeah.
All right. Is this true?
Yes, it is.
Perfect.
So I have some photos later on of like showcasing some of her stuff, but Lola is apparently a very well-known artist from the area and has done a lot of very cool like painting other people's equipment.
Interesting. I honestly, and even just from being down there, like you do get that vibe of, oh yeah, my buddy does this and he did this portion of it. And then I know somebody who does this and they brought this into it and did this and did this and did this. It's very much community and it's just community based. Like we all know each other and we're all going to do these things together.
Well, I think like artistically, artists in a similar fashion of breweries and brewers, it's like a very close-knit community and you're always looking out for each other. Yes, it is like somewhat of a competition to be the best or sell what you're producing, but I think at the same time it's still a like-minded people becoming a community.
I'm okay with that, especially in the brewery world, because
everybody you're okay with it because it's right.
Everybody we've met or dealt with within the brewing world is very similar to that mindset.
Yes. Next question.
You feel good about your second beer of the
month?
What
was Wynwood's motto?
What has Wynwood's motto been?
She's back.
I'm back.
Jesus Christ.
Let's try it. Figure it out and be humble.
Wait, is one of them I'm back? Because you yelled that and then you went into the answers. So I think I'm going to go with pre-A, I'm back.
No,
that's been their motto from the start. I'm back.
That's my motto.
So Gabriel's going C. Andrew wants it to be B, and I agree. I love that their like business motto is figure it out.
Well, it's tough here because A and B are both kind of similar concepts of like basically saying, hey, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Correct.
Let's try it. Let's figure it out. So it seems kind of like a weird motto to me.
I'm for it.
I'm going C on this one as well. I think it's just be humble.
I think it's between A and B, and I want it to be A or B. Figure it out is fun. I like let's try it. Like no one knew figure it out means like we've been doing it a little bit, but we're gonna change like our course
Or Google it.
Let's try it is like, yeah, I'm a
Fuck
civil
it.
engineer. You done beer? Me either. Let's try it.
Let's try
I
it.
want it to be A. So I'm gonna go with A.
Or
What
maybe
we
they'll
got?
try it beer.
Tiffany,
Let's try it.
what is the
It's
answer?
B.
It is figure it out.
It is figure it out.
Figure it out.
Did it start off as fuck around?
No.
Fuck around, figure it out. Oh, find it. Yeah.
No, so they did start from very humble beginnings, and they've always just been like, you know what, we're gonna figure it out, we're gonna make it work, and so that's kind of how they've been doing it so far, and I freaking love it because I feel like that is how I live my life of,
Yeah, we'll get
It's
it.
I'll wing it, and eventually I'll figure out which way is the right way to do it.
Fuck around and figure it out. Fafio.
Yeah, my entire tattoo is actually candy shandy, figure it out! Exclamation.
Actually, it's Candy Shandy, FAFIO, all capital letters.
And the
Candy
O is
Shandy,
just
Fuck
right in
around
the
and
middle.
figure it out.
That's ridiculous.
Damn it, I'm comfortable with this show. All right, how many
That's
questions do we
2.
have?
This is the third.
This is the third
All
out
right.
of 6 or out of 5?
5.
Then we're over halfway through. Give me an excuse to crack this beer, please.
All right. When we're halfway through trivia, we open up the beer to get some flavor notes, to try it, to get an idea of what it is before going into the review process, which comes after this.
Correct. And tonight we're doing one of one from Wynwood Brewing.
Can art by Lola Bru.
Can art 100 out of
Way better
100.
than athletic, right?
They didn't even have a sports person on their thing. What's athletic about this can?
Okay.
All right.
True or false? The one of one name refers to the can artist
Oh.
Lola, which always makes one of a kind art. That smells good.
Yes, it does. Sorry, I just smelled the beer. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it in a minute. The one of one name refers to the can artist Lola, which always makes one of a kind art.
Then you think you would have called it one of a kind.
Well, so one of one is like an artist like reference. So when
'Cause
you
you
go into
do-
a painting, you see one of 150 prints or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of actually with you, Phil. I'm gonna say false, even though one of one makes sense. I just feel like the brewery has to do something other than just highlight the artist. So it has to tie back to the brewery somehow. So I'm gonna say I'm going false.
I think it. I think that it's one of one is the term. I just don't know if it relates necessarily to Lola herself.
Right, exactly.
So I think that might be where the falseness. There might be some trickery in the question.
There's
Tiffany?
always trickery.
It's true.
What?
So again, she paints people's musical instruments, and she
oh.
does like one of a kind art. And so she always posts like, this is one of one. Like, it is a one of a kind. This is what I.
Interesting. Okay.
So on her Instagram, you'll see a lot of like one of one. Like,
So it
again.
does roll back to the one of one
Yep.
from the artistic end.
So in theory, this can art is a one of one. I mean, we all have the can, but like this is a.
But it's the only print.
And
of
I think
it.
it's also the only time they've done like this blend of items.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to point out that they say it's a shandy and it's tangerine and apricot, which technically means it's a rattler.
No. Fair.
Calling you out, Wynwood. Calling you out.
Come show up. Tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We emailed y'all.
Oh, don't. No, they emailed.
No, I was kidding.
Yeah. I mean, they responded back.
They
We
did.
just-
We
we
had
had some
issues.
communication errors.
Also, their email address ends in .beer versus
Yeah.
.com.
They don't have a .com. They have
So,
a .b. They own beer.
I need to know how to get this.
I mean,
Nope.
You probably just pay for it.
figure it out. I just need to figure it out.
I'll ask Danica Patrick. I saw a GoDaddy commercial once that was giving away very inexpensive domains. So we will solve this mystery by our 150th episode.
Okay.
All of our emails,
99.
all our emails will be .beer by then.
Yes. Wynwood opened in what year?
Oh shit! It was in the.
Oh, do I know this one? Hold on.
Yeah, it was in the picture.
Hold on.
Normally we have this question in the beginning, so I'm tossed.
I'm tossed.
I didn't write down any of the
Boy, we should
answers.
call. Never mind. I have a very specific response to this.
I'm gonna go with 2013. I think they've been around for a while. I think to get the name Wynwood, we've had this conversation about Virginia Beer Company and how they got the name Virginia Beer Company. So I think Wynwood Brewing. I think they were probably there early. So I'm going.
I have a quick question. Maybe Vero can clarify this for me. She said 2013, and then her exact next comment was B, 2017.
Ooh.
Vero,
Vero, you gotta verify this. You gotta verify it.
Vero, fuck, I hate this so much.
I love it. Going for it. We know, Gabriel.
Yeah,
Thank you
we
for
know,
admitting
Gabriel,
it.
but thank you for
No,
stating
Gabriel,
that.
you spelled your wife wrong. You enjoy throwing out your wife.
All right. The answer is A. I just verified it.
Correct.
They have been around since
It's A.
2013.
It's A, damn it.
Yeah, they've been around for a while, and that's all I have. Again, I didn't write down the answers. I thought I'd just have them memorized, but that was a beer ago. So
you know what's interesting to me though, like so the Wynwood district that we were in, so we parked and we walked down there a couple of different times, and every time we were down there, like I noticed something different, or you noticed like a pop-up of something, or like a community event going on.
Yeah. And
it's funny to me because when I think about them being there since 2013, I always have two questions for a brewery that's been around since 2013. One, how can I not purchase your beverage where I live, regardless of where where you are?
I mean, it's just a business model.
Yeah, well, but that's the second thing that always comes into play, especially when you see a place like Wynwood. You're like, oh wait, never mind. Like you guys are here for this community. You're here to like serve as a place for this community,
right,
both artistically, brewery, like a little bit of everything. And when you see it in person, it makes so much more sense as to they've been around that long for a reason, because the community itself supports their business,
right?
Versus the business having to go out and seek clients and seek production and seek. Yeah. Like it's a really interesting business model that I don't think about that often.
Well, Wynwood is also a tourist attraction in the same sense that, we drove by there and said, what is that? I need to see it. Wynwood has a whole bunch of cool things. Like they've got Wynwood Walls, which is now a ticketed location, but it used to just be big artists would come in and paint walls in this one area. And so there was really big name people, and it was actually, what still is, a kind of like a hub for a lot of different artists, especially with the large murals.
Sure.
Who specialize in that. So they'll come in and they change the art out and rotate it out, and we'll come visit. It's a very, very cool place. I did post there's a couple pictures. We'll go through them in a second.
Oh, perfect.
One more question.
That's good, because I don't actually remember being there. So these are
we
pure
did not
lies.
go to Wynwood Walls.
Show me the picture. We walked past them.
We walked past it.
Correct. And there was a guy out there who was real serious about it that I flashed.
With the chicken?
Yeah.
No, a rooster. He had a rooster.
Again, it's a rooster joke.
A cock joke?
Correct.
That's Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Wynwood has a rich history and is commonly known as the Puerto Rican Miami.
Isn't Miami the Puerto Rican Miami?
No, that's the Cuban America.
Jesus.
I think. I don't know.
Here we go.
Cubans were good though, man.
Yeah, they were. I don't know. This one sounds like trickery. Puerto Rican.
I mean, commonly known. Yeah, I mean, I could see it with the brightness and everything, kind of the energy level there. I could kind of see it. So I'm just gonna say true, just for the hell of it.
Okay. I'm gonna go false then, just because I disagree with you as a person.
Yeah, that's fair.
Perfect. I love it. I love that Gabriel went no. Incorrect answer, no matter which one is right, Gabriel. Well
no
done,
is not
sir.
an option.
Well
That's
done.
C, and there is no.
He doesn't even want to answer it. Just no.
Rich history is true.
I wonder who Rich is.
Yeah, true story.
Right.
Richard.
He's a beautiful history.
All right, Tiffany, what do we got here?
It's true. So Miami has a lot of different neighborhoods, and they all kind of eventually around like the 80s kind of ended up being specific pockets. Like a lot of large cities, you have kind of like pockets. You have like Chinatown, you have like Japantown, you
don't have Japantown. You have Little Italy or Chinatown.
Okay, well,
no one's ever been to Japan.
Yeah, it's in San Francisco.
It's called Japan.
No, it's Japantown, Chinatown. There's like a Vietnamese area. Anyway, so like you typically have like communities coming together because in the same sense of like breweries being a community or artists being a community, like you like to find your own people. And so Wynwood initially in the like 50s was a white neighborhood, like relatively kind of like middle class, who were working in the area. And then it turned into a bunch of different things. But essentially by the 80s, it was primarily Puerto Rican. The really sad part is that not only Wynwood, but also Overtown were completely disrupted by the Interstate 64. Mm-hmm. So in similar...
It's 95.
95, yeah, whatever. We have 64.
Correct.
So in the same sense that, I mean, you've heard about this in a lot of large cities where the interstate really kind of split things up. Wynwood is one of those areas that kind of was kind of tossed aside. And so not quite as bad as Overtown. Overtown was...
How would we have seen it though if the interstate didn't run past it? I mean, it's
talking about O-Town? Sorry. No? Yeah. Oh, did you say O-Town?
No. Different.
Overtown?
Overtown.
Okay. Because it's technically over downtown. They were not...
I got real excited for a second. I thought we were talking about O-Town.
If you're trying to go to O-Town, that's on Wednesday nights.
I think you're talking about the band Motown.
No. We're
talking about the band O-Town is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And only the OJs get played when I'm trying to go to O-Town.
But yeah, anyway, long story short, a lot of really cool stuff has happened in Wynwood. Used to be a safe place kids could play around. Now not so much, but the art is super awesome. Phil, will you do me a favor and pull the slides up so we can go through a couple really cool photos from Lola Bru? So nice. Here's one of the drum kits that she painted in her. Again, she does one of a kind or one of one. So this is a custom drum set that she made for someone. Next slide is she has worked for Snoop Dogg.
Haven't we all?
And then the one on the right is actually all of her artwork, and they are all one of ones. So this was a show that she did, and so everything was for sale, and it was all one of ones.
Very cool.
Yeah, super cool. So here's Wynwood Walls. So this is the entrance, and you can see that it's a super cool venue. You can actually rent it out or do events here. They have the capability to have 2,000 people. Mm-hmm. And in addition, Wynwood Walls actually just put out a book of kind of like the history of Wynwood Walls and how the art culture has changed over time and like who's been there. And it seems like a really cool book. So if you're looking for cool coffee table stuff, this is a very colorful book. Also, if you go to their website, it does like watercolor stuff. And so you can sit there and like use your mouse to make like cool Anyway, I was very entertained and Daniel was mad at me.
Yeah, I lost Tiffany for a good hour on the watercolor.
Yeah. It reminded me of jacksonpollock.org, where you used to be able to make your own Jackson Pollocks. When I was like 19, I plastered my cubicle with Jackson Pollocks that I had made.
Nice. I plastered
there
my
is one more.
cubicle
Sorry.
at 19. Oh, okay.
So this is just Wynwood. Like there's constantly construction happening.
Yep.
And there are giant murals and super cool things everywhere you look. So everything that would usually be like a gray or just a bland color, it is just pop art all the time. Like super cool, flashy colors. It's amazing.
It was really interesting because we drove past it on the interstate, and again, I was like, well, whatever that is, we need to go. And so then obviously we looked it up, and then we went down there and literally like we parked way off of where we were actually trying to go.
That Wynwood existed,
and it was gorgeous. Like the walk there was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like everything around it was crazy.
People spray paint things on the it's like ads for like their stuff. So there was one ad.
So even the sidewalks are
on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So it was super, super cool. If you were in the Miami area or have the opportunity to go down to Miami, I highly recommend at least half a day in Wynwood.
Yeah.
It is very cool.
And if you're Phil, at least half a beer at Wynwood Brewery, depending on where you went before.
Yeah, I do remember you challenging. You were like, you at least got to have a sip of it so you can add it on Untappd. I just remember being like, oh.
I know, I loved it.
Like I am so full, I'm going to vomit.
I love it.
But I do remember the brewery itself. I remember really being like, this is like a nice homey brewery. Like we walked in, they were super nice to us. I think they had like board games everywhere. A lot of people in there just kind of chilling.
When we went back on the second trip down there, they had a old school video game night. So we played Super Nintendo and Sega in the same booth that they had board games set up. And I was like, whatever this place is, take my money. I'll be here with some regularity.
Yep. Yeah.
You're slamming that debit card down.
It'd be worse if I was slamming that debit card around. You're right. That's the worst.
No, that's responsible because that's money you already own.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's what my finance person says.
Fair.
Use a debit card, not a credit card.
Use a debit card, not the credit card.
Sold. Well, Marcus, go.
Yeah.
Let us know how it goes.
Yep.
For those of you in the local area, in Hampton Roads, there is a Velo, which is a low-cost flight. It is like $29.
They bumped it up. It's $39.
Sorry,
one way.
$39 to Fort Lauderdale, one way.
Also
you
available.
Just take that go of a beer and go back.
Fuck yeah! You are not kidding. That's cheaper than buying dinner. Round trip.
You ready to review this beer?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's review it.
Let's review this.
All right, so again, this is the portion of the show where we're going to take a second to review the beer. And again, tonight we're doing one of one, which is from Wynwood Brewing out of Miami. And if you're unfamiliar, we do review these beers through Untappd, which is 1 to 5 bottle caps. 1 being I put it in the toilet. 5 being I built a toilet because of how amazing it was to worship it.
Technically, you could also do 0.25, so you can even go under 1, and that is really toilet.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's toilet
I think I've done that.
However,
that's warhead territory.
That's warhead territory. We don't discuss that sober. That being said, if you go into the About section on our page here on YouTube or anywhere else, make sure you like, subscribe, follow along, but you can also find all of our Untappds individually, our show Untappd. You can see the catalog of the beers. You can see all 22 beers I've historically had on Untappd. It should be a blast. But let's get into this. I'm interested to go first. You're gonna go first?
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Because to me, this is like a beer that you would have in a hammock. And I was near a hammock the other day, and I thought to myself, man, I wish I had this shandy. And I just happened to film a moment of myself in this hammock for everyone to enjoy. So even though it'd be like to be in St. Martin in a hammock in a beautiful house having a shandy. So I want to get everyone in the right mindset.
Yeah.
So this video is just going to show you the beauty of sitting in a hammock, and you can picture yourself having a shandy.
Oh. Mother. Fucker.
I just realized it's recording.
Made to date be my favorite video ever made. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I love that your camera, that your drone zooms in on you. It is still my favorite part. That your drone's like, oh, sup,
Is
bud?
he okay? God.
Checked on you. It's an AI. The camera's like, you all right, bud?
So, all hammock videos aside, if the hammock didn't fail and you got to have this in a
I'm
hammock,
glad.
what
Man,
do
I
you
kind of wish I was holding this in the hammock when it happened.
it'd be better. It'd be
Although
better.
I would be really sad though, because then I'd be all out of this, and I really, really, really like this.
Yep.
I think because it's got what? Apricot? How do you pronounce it?
Apricot?
I think we have a shirt about that. Oh, yep, there it is. Apricot. Apricot. Which is it?
So I was supposed to wear this shirt today, and I forgot until about 30 seconds into.
Just now.
No, I had thought about it about like when you were introducing the show, and I was like, I talked about this.
True story.
I talked about it with Vero. I was like, that's a great idea.
We do what we can.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right, so you dig this beer.
So I think the apricot and the tangerine is a nice flavor. I know it's not an official shandy because therefore it is not a shandy, but sometimes shandies are just, they're such a summer drink. They're like lemonade, they're that, but they can just be a little too tart, a little too like difficult to drink. But I think using a tangerine and an apricot kind of calms that down a little bit, makes it not too tart. I could have more than one of them. Super flavorful. It's delicious. Maybe I'm enjoying it more because I'm in the summer sun here, but I think it's a great beer. For me, this is for a shandy, even though it's not a shandy. Even as a blonde ale, I'm going to give this a 4.25.
Interesting. Okay. I'll piggyback off you a little bit in the sense of I agree with you. I think an actual shandy with some of the lemonade and some of the really tartness of it is almost, again, much like a lot of sours for me, instant heartburn. So I think I get a shit ton of apricot out of this for me. I do get some of the other flavors, but I get a ton of apricot out of this, which is way less harsh on my throat, way less harsh on the flavor profile. And I think at the end of the day, you're right. It's not an actual shandy, but even as a blonde ale, I'll have a few of these. I'll sit anywhere on a beach. I'll sit anywhere that shandies are normally enjoyed and enjoy this much better. Well, not a hammock. Yeah. Well, you can't sit in a hammock anymore.
You just gotta test your hammock.
Well, honestly,
you gotta inspect it.
With fucking inflation and everything else, can you even trust a hammock anymore?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you probably can. You need the right person. My back can't.
Between the hammock and the bat up my ass, my back is killing me.
So true, though. So for me, I do dig this beer a lot. I'm not going quite as high as you. I'm going to stick with a solid 4. I will have plenty more of these any day of the week, whether it's winter, whether it's summer. Like if I just want a nice light drinking beer, this is fantastic. I will give your hammock video though a 5 out of 5 bottle caps because you died. When you hit the ground, you immediately died. Your body, if you freeze that video, as soon as you hit the ground, you look like the Mummy Returns. Like you just woke up, but you can't quite move. And it's one of my favorite visual representations of how old you feel. Because that's how I get out of bed every morning. And like everyone's like, ow.
I will tell you, you're the third person that has told me that I look my age in that video. Like, you're like, when you roll over, it's such a mid-30-year-old guy rolling over.
That's how I get out of bed until I just fall out. And then I have to get up or I die there. So it becomes a normal struggle.
I sent Daniel a tweet earlier today that was like, me, like, I'm only 35. I got so much life ahead of me. And then it was like sports announcer, like, here comes so-and-so. He's the oldest person in the league at 32. It's a miracle. Like
he's still playing. Oh, no.
And it was just this moment because I feel like the last couple of years, as I've been watching sports, I've started to realize that, like, I can't even, like, hit on any one of these, like, young children that are playing the sports.
That's what you realized?
Yeah. Yeah, because I've always been like, maybe I'll leave Daniel and I'll marry this guy.
Brock, Mr. Irrelevant.
He's such
I got a
sweet
torn
boy.
tendon.
He's a sweet boy. No, I was aiming for Garoppolo at one point. But
we all were aiming for Garoppolo at one point.
Yeah, I was aiming for Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So I realized that's probably not going to happen.
All right, what do you think about this beer?
Garoppolo, please.
Garoppolo, call me. It's Wednesday.
Beer. I drink beer. I'm really cool.
It's Wednesday.
All right, so this beer, I smell a lot of apricot.
Yes.
And the first thing that hits me is apricot, and I love apricot. Mm-hmm. And then on the very tail end, I get some tangerine, which is like that tart but still like sweet, slightly bitter portion of it.
Yeah, I
love it because it's like the apricot, like you mentioned, is like pretty mellow in a sense of not being super tart. It's not super sweet. It's just a really good flavor. It reminds me of my grandma who used to dry apricots on her roof. But anyway,
again, we grew up different.
So I dig this beer. It could also be that I've had very few beers over the past 30.
Yours is the most sliding scale on this episode, which is crazy.
So I'm gonna go with Phil and give it a 4.25.
I mean, I'm fine with that
because I'm a little mad that they called it a shandy versus a rattler.
We probably could have got a better explanation of that, but it didn't work out tonight.
No lemon.
No, I mean,
I'll say you don't see the Radler on cans as often. I think throwing on the shandy is probably also just kind of like almost a marketing thing as well.
Sorry, Garoppolo reference. Garoppolo. I mean, fair.
Like everyone, when you see a shandy, you're like, yeah, I know what it is. It's like a juicy beer. So I think you don't see Radler as much anymore.
Well, I think they may have gone that route on purpose, though. Because when you see a shandy, it's a good summer beer, but you actually just got a decent blonde ale with better flavor. And you might actually trick people into drinking some beer.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that's kind of like the next portion of things that I was going to mention is that with the beer world becoming more inclusive of people liking all these different flavors. People don't just want a lager, like they don't want a beer.
Right.
They want like a juice equivalent, or I really like wine. What's kind of my entryway, and that might be the saison or something like that. So I think that this is a amazing and really well done blonde ale that does give that little bit of beer flavor to it, but still makes it really approachable and very much so juice like. Which again, you can have multiples of on the beach. You're going to kind of make like a people pleaser. I'd have a really hard time believing someone that was like, I don't like this. Unless they don't like apricot, which you're also crazy.
I agree. I think this is a this would be like a this is an easy beer, like Daniel said, on the beach. Like,
Yep.
This is the beer you bring a 4-pack to the beach and you give one to everyone. They're all gonna be, everyone who has one's gonna be like, yeah, it's great, it's perfect. Like,
Plus the can art.
plus, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Imagine
I do
like
love
drinking
athletic, but
Bud
this is
Ice,
not bad.
and I'm like, oh, but have you tried this? And they're like, what kind of acid did you do? And I was like,
Try it.
here's not quite a shandy. Good luck.
So tonight we did 1 of 1 from Wynwood Brewing. We gave it a 4.25, which I think is a fair and amazing score. I think it's a good beer. Now let's get into our favorite portion, or especially brewers' favorite portions of the show.
Let's see what everyone who hates beer thought about beer.
Let's go on Untappd and see what the general public thinks of this beer.
Smooth and almost creamy.
See,
Question mark?
interesting sharp bite from the
I got the same
tangerine.
thing.
Yeah, but that's late in the game. The sharp bite for me is I get all
I have
apricot.
the worst hiccups right now.
But you get all apricot out of this.
But
That
there's
would be the
tangerine
sharp
on the
bite.
end. That's the bite at the end.
But the sharp bite, no, he doesn't say at the end. Just sharp bite.
Courtney, it's a.
Yeah.
I don't know what her
I'm
pronouns.
not
Oh,
really
I'm
getting I'm not really getting the creamy aspect of it, but
I think with like the thickness in the same sense.
Yeah.
God, these hiccups are gonna kill me. Of like a hazy, that it can be slightly creamy.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that there's lactose in it. It's more of a texture.
Yeah, it's like a
thing.
mouthfeel thing. And yeah, I could get a little bit of creaminess out of this if that was what I got on the front end of it.
I'm holding my breath.
Another
Get rid of
refreshing one.
No, it didn't work.
Christian drinks here. Another refreshing one.
It's his. He got a flight. It's just his third.
It's just
flight.
his third one from there. Oh my God, they're at an epic hotel. I'm sorry, that baby should not be drinking beer either.
I love.
no, it's weird that this baby has a account on Untappd.
That is, and
So many tools.
so good. But so, I mean, 4. Okay.
375.
Close enough.
Not a lot of people checked in this beer, so
There's a lot of
must be a
check-ins,
rare
but-
find.
It's 1 of 1.
Well, there's a lot of check-ins, but they just don't have an explanation at all. God, these hiccups are gonna kill me.
Just stop it. Take a break.
Well, we got one last section.
Give
that
me
we can
drinking
go
beer for
through.
one motherfucking day. You see this?
That's what
ready
happens.
for
This is why you shouldn't do dry January. You're gonna get stuck with hiccups the rest of your life.
All right, so we
I
have one
wonder-
more portion left. Go for it.
Yeah, I wonder if Tiffany's is gonna be hiccups. Here we go.
All right, so if you're unfamiliar with the show, this is where we're going to take a portion to reflect on something that we wish was beer versus what it actually is. So if you're in the comment, give us something you think you wish was beer versus what it actually is. Go nuts. If it's ridiculous, I just won't talk to you. Tiffany. Oh, never mind. Okay.
I do have one.
Oh, go ahead.
It's not actually hiccups, but
Yeah, we're ready.
that's a new one.
I would love for your hiccups to interrupt
It's
it.
actually really
Go.
related.
Yeah.
So I this morning had a long COVID breathing test. I don't know if anyone has had breathing tests before, but there is this like glass box of emotions that they put you in. And it's got this like there's all these different like hoses going into things. They put this like contraption against your face. They measure it like where you need to be. The opening is like about the same size as your mouth.
Like Wang's Day.
It's a little smaller than Wang's Day. It's a little more comfortable than that.
Get that a lot.
It's also ovally, so it's not like a whole round. It's a little oval shape. It's more mouth
Did
shape.
I just find a new kink? I'm very
100%. You just
So-
get nothing but breathing tests.
So I'm sitting in this like classroom chair. It's a wooden chair, in this glass box, and
slower. Explain it
And-
slower.
this wonderful woman was like
Ooh.
coaching me through all the different like breathing exercises and things I had to do. But like they kept being like breathe in really fast and then breathe out really fast and then keep breathing out. And I'm like, there is nothing left in the tanks, lady. Like, I'm going to keep going. But like my abs started hurting. And I was like, oh, I forgot I had those. So anyway, long story short, it took an hour. And towards like I don't know, 75% in, she's like, I'm just really trying to irritate your lungs so we can figure out what's wrong. And I was like, yeah, I am more aware that I have lungs right now than I've literally ever been. And my lungs still kind of hurt. So I wish that hour and a half of my life was beer because then it would have been much more enjoyable. I thought I was going to die.
Perfect. Brought it all back.
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't have had to like make it seem like you were coaching me through it. I had it.
I'm coaching you through it.
No, man.
This is your first day back on the wagon. I felt like you needed some coaching.
You want to turn my Wi-Fi off?
While Daniel's telling us his wish you were beer in the comment section, give us yours so we can go over it after. So now's your time. Enter in your wish you were beer. Daniel, what's yours this week?
Mine's really easy. If you know me at all, you know that I am a Duke college basketball fan. So there goes all of our subscribership, and that is fine.
Go Duke.
Anyway, I'm a big Duke basketball fan, college basketball wise. This is the week historically that we play University of North Carolina. So it's a rival, it's a crazy week for the school and for the program in general. So I just wish this week was beer because I've never been anxious about a beer that didn't matter. Because the game doesn't matter.
You're both unranked.
The sport doesn't matter. Nothing about this actually fucking matters.
You're both unranked.
In the world, nothing matters as little as sports. But somehow I feel anxious about it because it's a team I follow. And I've never been anxious about a beer. I've never been anxious about a beer release, a beer upcoming, a beer this. A beer going head to head with another motherfucking beer has never been a problem for me. However, Duke plays Carolina twice a year, and every week they play.
Saturday is going to be crazy.
Oh, I hate this shit.
Apparently.
I hate this whole week for no fucking reason. So I just wish this week was beer. I'd be less anxious about it for no reason.
There.
Are you when you're anxious watching Duke, do you drink more or less?
Probably less, actually, because typically because I want to know what's going on instead of I'm trying to avoid whatever Teen Wolf Chronicle you're watching. So normally that's when I drink more when it's something I care about.
Watched Outlander.
Outlander, that's what it is. Isn't that Teen Wolf?
No.
What?
No, there's way more sex in Outlander.
Wait, yeah, no, you're right. No, yeah. There's a lot of Teen Wolf sex in most of the
I don't
other
need to
stuff
see
too.
Teen Wolf. I don't think that's appropriate. That is underage.
All right, Bill, what do you got?
Well, Katie wishes dishes were beer because she's drowning in dishwashing like 6 times per day.
Well, you should find you somebody who does your dishes.
Yeah, maybe you should find someone to help you out with that.
Not after the bullshit you pulled on me tonight.
What? God. I have 2 beers.
I have 2 beers.
1 and a half.
I'm not
beers.
even gonna play Gabriel's. You can see it in the comments.
Yeah, I was the same thing.
Oh yeah, Marcus with the burn pits.
Yeah.
She actually was asking me all these different questions about what like my history has been, and I was like, I don't think I've breathed that in. Like, I don't know.
Katie also said her baby gets dry. Also did dry January. Doubtful. I think we've had beers together. Your baby's kind of had a beer.
Yeah, May and I.
Your baby is sneaking out at night.
No. Not a chance. What do you got, Phil?
So I wish that hammocks were beer.
Mother. It's my favorite video.
Because beer doesn't let me down. Beer doesn't let me down. So if hammocks were beer, they wouldn't let me down either.
God.
So that's it for me.
I fucking love it. Marcus, by the way, Marcus is the head brewer at Capstan nowadays. And after 2 days of anticipation of the brewery ownership changing, I really wish this week was all beer. But at least it's done now.
I'm excited
Absolutely.
for you that is
Yeah.
done.
True story.
Also, congrats to the new owner,
Kevin.
Kevin, who we've known locally through his
For
food truck,
days. Oh,
DD 214.
is it?
I think so.
Is that the retirement?
I think it is.
All right.
Yeah, 214. That's the retirement.
I can't handle you.
I am not retired from the military, so I do not have one, and therefore I have a carte blanche for not knowing the numbers.
Boy, the show's running long. Phil, what are we doing next week?
It's running a little bit longer because we have an exciting show next week. Not only because we're having another beer, which is exciting in itself.
Always exciting.
I cannot believe that we are about to hit our 100th episode.
What?
Yeah.
We gotta get a hobby, man.
The fuck?
Next week signifies 100 weeks in a row we have done this show.
Well, we didn't. There was a couple weeks we took off. I think we had like pre-recorded shows, but yeah,
We filmed 100 episodes of this show. 101 technically, because one has never aired.
there's going to be a day where we air that episode. It's not next week, I don't think.
My face is melting.
It's
Is my
never.
face melting?
No,
This is a game changer.
I can't believe that
But
we've
if
been
we
hanging
look
out.
back at our 100 episodes, which we'll get into, we'll probably talk about some of our favorite moments next week. But we've accomplished a lot in 100 episodes, and I'm pretty proud of this show. I mean, we've got 3 beers out already,
4 in the tank.
with 1 in the tank. I got next week's beer up here somewhere. Here it is. Next
2
week,
Jesuits.
for our 100th episode, we are doing a beer called Two Jesuits Walk Into a Brewery. Because why the hell not?
Because we'll have a shandy in winter, we'll have a stout in summer, and we'll have 2 Jesuits walking to a brewery in the middle of our show.
This is Barnstable Brewing. They're from Cape Cod,
Oh,
and it's a double IPA, 8.2%.
go big or go home.
I am going to die next week.
So that's going to be a good one for our 100th. I think a double IPA is a good 100th episode show. I can't wait. I hope everyone comes back to celebrate it with us, because without everyone who's watching it, we'd still be here because that's our sad little lives we live. But it does make it easier when we have people here.
Yes.
True story.
Makes it
Yeah.
way more exciting.
I love everyone who's been here the whole time, because we do have some great people who come in every week. Just think you've spent at least 100 hours of your life watching this show.
That you'll never get back.
You ain't getting those back at all.
God.
I'm so sorry, but I hope that everyone enjoyed a beer during each one of those.
They 100% did.
So you had 100 good beers, and I'd like to think that we're decent company, but I have no freaking
There's a
clue.
good chance we're not.
I don't think we are, actually. I think
Well,
more than anything, this is just like background noise for people while they're
It's
enjoying-
background noise for the comment section. I think they just come here to talk to each other.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Checks out.
Totally fine with it.
yeah, 100%. So, yes.
Daniel, you want me to close it? You want to close it?
I would love for you to close it. You're a closer.
All right.
Always
Well,
people.
A
Thank you, everyone.
B C closing.
Look, I'm just a shirt salesman.
With that beer show.
My favorite shirt that somehow didn't get made from last week, but the only shirt that matters. Just a
it's still
beer.
good. There's still time. Speaking of shirts, if you want something for your honey for Valentine's Day, we got B Beer. Who's your beer show?
It'll be mine. Just fucking be beer. Be way
B
more.
Beer. Yeah. Everyone who's still here, who still watches this show, thank you for watching. Come back next week to celebrate our 100th episode. It's going to be pretty much exactly this, but we're going to say it's our 100th episode a few times. Follow us on socials. We did check out the stuff from last week because we do have another beer in the tank, which is very exciting. Daniel's big on TikTok, so follow him there.
And huge.
And besides that, we'll see everyone next week. I'll see the two of you next week.
Just a shirt salesman with a beer show.